Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, your bag, Master Wars 9, back with another video. Today, we're going to take a look at some One Piece TCG decks. I've done this before in the past. I've been getting back into the game a little bit, so I want to try and do another one going on today. So, what I thought might be interesting is we're going to take a look at the official deck list. If you go to the One Piece website, onepiece-cardgame.com, you can find deck lists. It's recommended decks to help you get started on this game if you really don't know where to start. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Dawn Krieg from OP15 deck list. So let's start by taking a look at Krieg. He's red-green as a color combo, 4 life, 5k. He's got his first ability. If you have a Dawn attached, on your opponent's turn, if you only have East Blue type characters, give all of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power. Okay, so this does need some requirements. You need a Dawn attached, and you need to have a field with only East Blue characters, which means you have to have a field. If you have no characters on your field, then it doesn't work. Then, second ability, activate main, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with 2 or more given Dawn cards. So the core concept of this deck is to 1, flood your board with East Blue characters, 2, attach Dawn, punish your opponent for having Dawn attached to their characters, and 3, attach Dawn to your opponent's rested characters or opponent's characters in order to punish them. So, this set comes from, or all the cards in the set come from OP15, which is really nice. And honestly, the deck is pretty budget friendly if you look to building this in real life. Some of the bigger cards in this and the super rares are about 50 cents. So, take a look. We have Kobe from OP15 number 9. He's a 1-cost 2k with 2k counter, which is pretty good. This is definitely, he's an uncommon, which means there's a little bit more difficulty in obtaining the card, but it shows definite approval or improvement from the start of the game, where your vanilla is a 1k 3 cost, or one cost 3k power with a 1k counter, no effect. So if you think about it, we're losing 1k on the power, but gaining that 1k on the counter, and we have an effect. So that is definite power. If you have a character of a base power of 7,000 or less that will be removed by your opponent's effects, you may instead give minus 2,000 power during this turn instead. So this is a protection, protects your characters from removal. It's a trend we saw for all the colors in this set. I don't like giving your leader minus 2k power. That's a little rough. But ultimately, it's not a hard once per turn. So this provides Omni protection, which is really nice. We're looking at Haguma from OP15 number 15. 1 cost, 1k with 2,000 counter. He's got the on-play effect of giving 1 Dawn card from your opponent's cost area to one of your opponent's characters. Then, give up to one of your opponent's characters with 1 or more given Dawn, minus 1,000 power during this turn. So, you're probably going to use him more as a counter, because that 2,000 counter is very nice. But it is pretty good as a tech option compared to other 2,000 counters that you could have. Do notice that it says give up to 1 Dawn card from your opponent's cost area. It doesn't necessarily have to be rested Dawn, so it could remove counter options from your opponent as well, which is pretty nice in closing out games. Then, we're running Pearl, 4 cost, 4k power, 1,000 counter. Opponent's turn, if your leader has the East Blue type, this character gains a blocker and plus 2,000 power. So it's going to be a 6k blocker, because you're pretty much only going to run it with East Blues. On KO, if your leader has the East Blue type, KO one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 base power or less. So this is a rare from OP15 number 11, but this is a really good card. 6k counter is really nice, and having an on KO effect is really good. It's kind of rough in the sense that it's exclusive to Don Krieg, but if you're running the Don Krieg deck, then it's an auto include. So far, we have 4, 4, and 4. All of the cards in this deck list are 4-ofs, with the exception of the final, which we'll get to. Alvida. She's from OP15 number 3. She's a rare. 5 cost, 6k power, 1000 counter. If this character would be KO'd, you may trash one character of a cost with a power of 6000 or less from your hand instead. Then activate main once per turn. And give one of your opponent's rested Dawn cards to one of your opponent's characters. Give one of your rested Dawn card, or give a rested Dawn card to an opponent's leader or character, or to its owner's leader or character. What does this mean? You're going to first have a level of protection on herself. You gotta discard a card for it, but honestly, it's nice to have that option for protection. Then you're going to attach a rested Dawn to your opponent, and then you can either attach another Dawn that's rested to your opponent or to yourself, which means that you can proc this effect, then attach to the Don Krieg. So you're getting maximum Dawn efficiency in that regard. Next card, Morgan. 5 cost, 6k, 1000 counter. He is a blocker, and he has the same effect as Alvida. Now, this is a common, which is pretty nice. I'm not going to go over that effect again, because, again, it's the same exact as Alvida. Next up, we got our first super rare. We're running Jin. He's a 6 cost, 7k with 1000 counter. On play, if your leader has the East Blue type, play up to one character with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. That's really good. If you really think about it, 6 cost, and you get to play a 5 cost, means you're looking at about 11 total value that you could get out as early as your turn 3 if you're going second. It is a super rare, which makes it a bit tough to pull him out, but again, having the East Blue leader type and being red makes it difficult and pretty exclusive to decks. So the budget has been relatively balanced for cards like these. Same thing with Krieg himself. He's an 8 cost, 9k, super rare. On play, give up to 3 of your opponent's rested Dawn cards to one of your opponent's characters. Then this character is going to gain Rush. Activate main once per turn. If this character was played on this turn, give all of your opponent's characters minus 1000 power for each Dawn card given to that character during this turn. So this is a nice way to remove some of the higher end cards. Goldie Roger is a very popular red card, which you could probably throw in here if you want to do some customization. That if you manage to protect yourself against it, you have to worry about Goldie Roger coming out the next time. So this is a way to potentially reduce that power and get a sense of removal on the board. My only issue with this card is that it's an on play that gives it Rush. So something like Blackbeard is going to definitely hurt that effect. Going into our green cards, we've got Django. He's a 1 cost 2k with 1000 counter, an uncommon from 15, number 26. On play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal an East Blue type card and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So, top 3 searcher, not as good as a top 4 searcher, but honestly not terrible. Running mono East Blue, so we're always going to get a hit off. Activate main. You may trash this character. Give up to one of your opponent's rested Dawn cards to one of your opponent's characters. It allows you to proc the Krieg effect and combo in pretty fine. If you are really not in need of searching, he is a 1k counter, but it's a searcher that has a little bit of an additional effect afterwards, which is nice. And you don't have to proc that effect immediately. You can wait a turn. Next, we got the Meowbon brothers. They are a uncommon from set 15, number 28. A 1 cost 2k with 2k counter, which is pretty nice. On play, if your leader has the East Blue, give 1 Dawn card from your opponent's cost area to one of your opponent's characters. So we're seeing it again. This is the same as Higuruma without that reduction, but this one is not bad. And this one was rested. But Miyabon and Higuruma do serve as nice tech options in the late game by removing the ability to play out a counter event, because you can technically hit unrested Dawn. Arlong, he's a rare from OP15, number 23. 4 cost, 5k power, 1000 counter. On KO, up to 2 of your opponent's rested cards will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase. Activate main once per turn. This is the same thing as Alvida. Okay? So you get Alvida, you got Morgan, and you got Arlong as nice tech options there. Then we have our other high end in Kuro. He's a rare from OP15, 7 cost, 7k, 1000 counter. He's got blocker, so that's pretty high power for a blocker, which is kind of nice. Odd play, give up to 2 of your opponent's Dawn cards to one of your opponent's characters. Do not have to be rested. Then at the end of this turn, up to 1 of your opponent's rested characters with 3 or more given Dawn cards will not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. So this is a good way to stall out your opponent. Then looking at events, we have an uncommon from OP15, number 37. 1 cost. The outcome will tell us who's strong, who's weak. It's going to be a top 5 searcher. Except you can't search for itself. It'll pick up any East Blue. It does have a trigger of being able to draw a card, which is pretty nice. You know, they didn't have to add it, but it's not bad. And then finally, last card in 2 instead of 4 is, it's an order, Do Not Defy Me. OP15, number 38, as a rare 1 cost. This has 2 variations. If you choose to use it during your main phase, up to 1 of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 8 or less and 2 or more given Dawn will not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. So more stun effects in a similar sense to Kuro, but they have to have 2 conditions of 8 or less cost, which tends to be rough on what you're targeting, and 2 or more given Dawn, which isn't terrible. And then there's the counter, up to 1 of your Krieg gains 4,000 power during this battle. So it's specific to your leader, or if you're running the Krieg. So what's the breakdown according to the One Piece website? You're going to start in with early stuff such as Django and Arlong. Search it out, get your hand built out, and really get your board set up for Krieg's awesome defensive capability. Have one attached in order to give all of your opponent's characters a minus 2k, which is going to make it very tough for them to hit into you without heavy investment. Mid-game, we're going to use characters such as Jin to cheat out cards like Morgan and Alvida, but those are pretty solid cards on their own sum. Pearl is another pretty good early game that can go solid in the mid-game for defensive opportunities. In the end game, you're going to try and hit and go in to Krieg and Kuro. What are the weaknesses of this deck? This deck, from what I'm seeing, has a big issue with the ton of on-play effects from Blackbeard decks. You know, there's some that don't have on-play effects and activate main, but some of the bigger pieces like this Krieg gets shut down from Blackbeard black holing you. Also, if the opponent just doesn't have Rested Dawn, then Alvida and Morgan and Arlong and Django don't work. Attached Dawn is not Rested Dawn, and Unrested Dawn is not Rested Dawn. So it's very tough to get the effects just right if they are playing a good counter and not leaving Unrested Dawn for you to hit. But with that, we're going to play into a random match to see how it goes. Where did I put that? OP15 Krieg official. Let's just do a quick join. How's everyone's day going? Yeah, I'm on a little bit of a hiatus from work. We're on spring break. So I had an opportunity to record a video, and I thought I wanted to do this. Part of me wants to do this because I have started getting a local scene going at my LGS, local games shop, local game store, and I'm super excited for that, but I really don't know what I want to run. So far, I've been eyeing Krieg. He seems like a fun deck to play, and I feel pretty good in the defensive aspects of the deck, so I thought I'd try that. Sometimes it takes a second for it to log in. No, but please feel free to let me know how I'm doing. First off, if there's a deck that you want to see me try, let me know. I'm gonna start with the recommended deck lists to get the flow of it and the feel of it. But I also am wanting to go through all of them. Block one has been rotated out. There's other options. Oh, okay, we're playing against Kuzan from OP12. I believe we're gonna want to go first. That way we can hit our 5 drops. It seems like a rough hand. I'm a mulligan. We got a couple searchers. Next turn, we'll Django outcome and attach. I'll be happy with that. Yeah, so if there's anything you want me to play, let me know. I'll be happy to do so. Okay. Keep an East Blue. Let's grab Order, because it doesn't hurt to have those counters in. I want my pearls up, and Arlong can go in bottom there. Drop Django. We want Jin to get maximum efficiency. We'll put my searcher on top there. And we will attach. And you might as well go in for a swing. Now, I'm not as familiar with this Kuzan deck, but it is pretty aggressive. And he got some... We'll take the early game damage. It's a bit rougher there, but we'll be fine. 5 drop, little rough. But if we drop the Morgan, we do have a 6k blocker. And attach here to get here. Now, he doesn't have the 2 or more Rested Dawn, so we're not going to be able to get the effect. But he is going to be minus 4k, which means higher involvement. Now, so this Kuzan's interesting. When you trash a card due to your Navy effects, draw cards equal to the number of trash. So something like this Bluegrass, draw 1, trash 1. Oh, you're going to draw 1, 4, trash 1. Blocker, he's a 5k. We'll go into the 6. Yeah, see trash, and he's going to draw again. You can play defensive and mill him out. I think there's capabilities there. We're going to Jin next turn, and then Alvida in. So I think I'll counter out with a Kuro. I don't want to take out too much damage real early. Isho, trash 2 from your hand. 6 more cards in hand. Your opponent places 2 cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck. Order. Oh, that's rough. Okay. Well, we're going to 7 next turn, but we're not ready for the board state yet. I think we get rid of Jin, and I think we get rid of Order, because we're not going to have really enough Dawn to get that efficiency going. Okay, so the question is, do I pop Alvida, Arlong, or Pearl? I think we drop Alvida, just because she's a little higher power, which gives a little bit more room for punishment. So the blocker from Pearl wouldn't be bad, and I could drop off. I think that's the play right there. not gonna be able to arrest him, but he's already arrested. Okay. So I could get out the Elvita on KO if he manages to go through. Can attach. Give him one. My cards in hand are pretty low. And we're going in 7. I think we'll go in. Okay, he decided to take the hit. Okay, so this is tough. This is a tricky question. Okay, he drops the Shigi, which is going to be his searching option. Next turn, I think we Kuro. Oh, shoot. Hina's to play back my Morgan to hand. That's rough. Okay. I think we Pearl and pop back out Morgan. Fuck! That's not what I wanted to do. I misread the effect. It's my fault, but that is not what I wanted to do. Okay. Okay, the game's still not in a losable state yet. He's got 8 cards in hand due to the effect of it, but we could control this a little bit nicely. I think we've got to go for Krieg and take out his Isho. Give 3 of your opponent's rested Dawn to one of your opponent's characters. Well, the options are to take out Hina or to take out Isho. I think we work on taking out Isho because it has a little bit more value as a 7k, and the Hina doesn't have a win attack. Yeah. Now, since he's minus 4k, he's at 3. What we're gonna do is we're gonna attach 1 here, and we'll attack 6 into the 3. We'll save our high ends for the life. Get rid of the characters first in case they have some sort of trigger. Okay. Peasant Feck. Peasant Peck. So, okay, he countered out. Go into our 7k. Okay. Gotten rid of. Then we'll attack in 9 to leader. He's going to take that. Don't feel terrible just yet. We got a pretty solid board state. Not what I would have liked. Okay, drops Sengoku. Trash 1. And add 2 Navy to your hand. And then he's going to draw for the trash. That's pretty rough. Blackbeard would destroy this deck just due to the on-play effects. But, man, that's so many cards in hand. 9. Wow. Ina's at 5. We don't have a blocker. Oh, he stunned us out. We can't attack. I think we counter out there. I really don't want to take those hits. All right, we could Krieg again, or we could Kuro. Oh, I'll play it smart. right? We'll feint out a counter in hand by only attaching one. So the investment has to be a bit higher. We'll go into counters out +4, and he needs another counter out, 7. Okay. We'll attack in Hina 9 going in 2. Not the best efficiency, but I don't think he's gonna he's gonna let that slide. Yeah. Yeah. Now these Kriegs are definitely the win con of the deck. The Jin's not bad, but Rush is really strong. Okay, Goku or Garp. Trash one and play an 8K other than Garp. He plays in Sengoku. Neither of them have Rush. I think we're dropping Kuro, which gives us really no room for the Alvita. But we don't have means of attaching Redawn. Yeah, we don't have room for the Alvita. Another Krieg. Wow. Okay, so that Garp's an on play, while this one actually has an effect. So it's much better to get rid of the Sakazuki. So we'll do this. We'll attach 3 to Sakazuki. Then, yeah, give him -3K. Gonna arrest him. Right, instantly attach, and we're gonna fake out with 1. We're gonna leave 1 open. So he's 8 -3. That pops him to 5. Let's go in 6. He's gonna counter out with a 2K, but that's gonna force his cards out of his hand. Go in 7. Counters out. We're just trying to draw out his hand. Yeah, he really wants that survival. But we're flushing him out. We're at 1 in hand, but we have so many attackers going in. All right, he's gonna have to let him die at this point. Really doesn't peck. I don't think there's much he can do. His Krieg or his Sakazuki's dead. Okay, we're gonna fake out this 1 remaining. I got the 2 life as well. Okay, he concedes. That's awesome. But the GGs. We'll do 1 more. You know, I was anticipating a longer match, but I think we had a good match there. So, no, I thought that deck got done what it wanted to in the proper means. All right, playing against Doflamingo. Doflamingo's a little rough because he's able to redirect our attacks. Oh yeah, I think this is gonna be interesting. They're going first. We're going second. So I think we going second. We can Meow Ban and we have those double searchers. I like the Jin. Let's keep this. Because our turn 3, we're gonna be able to drop Jin and ideally get a drop 5 as well. And they conceded. Okay, it's not letting me just says the opponent is out of cards. I win the game. Okay. You know what? I hate to say it, but I guess that's where we end it there. I would have liked to go on a little bit longer, but you know, we're hitting about 30 minutes. Okay, there's the disconnect. We'll try 1 more. If we don't get one in quickly, we're gonna end it there. But no, I think the deck represented what it wanted to do pretty well. You know, he had a higher. This is more of a mid range. You know, there's not a lot of high end drops. Your most expensive is the 8 drop Krieg, which leaves you with a little bit of an opening. But I definitely did get lucky with some of those plays. just by getting some of those cards in hand when I need them. I top decked in Krieg 3 times. That's crazy, but that's the way the game goes. I think I would have been able to survive the next turn. I didn't know what he would have to play, but all right, looks like nobody's picking up. We're just going to end it there. If you got a deck you want to see me try out, please let me know in the comments. You know, just drop in the leader. I'd be happy to go in with what is available. Okay? Yeah, I'm going to use the deck list. If it's a starter deck, I'm going to use the starter deck as constructed. No adjustments. If it's a deck list formed as set, I'm going to do the advised deck list from the website. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being out here. I'd love to hear your feedback. And I hope that you have a sloppy day. Bye-bye.